to the Wrestling Show. This is the Raw Rundown for April 23rd, 2018. I'm your host, Mikey. Let's get into it. On this episode of Raw, we opened up with a dedication to Bruno Sammartino, 10 bell salute. They showed a video package, of course. WWE always does a great job with video packages, so that was great to watch. Throughout the night, they talked about how after Raw was over, a Bruno Sammartino documentary was going to be shown on WWE Network. I haven't checked that out yet myself, but I will, and I suggest you all check it out. If you don't know who Bruno Sammartino is, so you can learn about him, and if you do know about him, watch it. I'm sure you'll bring back some great memories for you. All right, and then after this, we had Brock Lesnar come out with Paul Heyman, of course. Wasn't a real big fan of this segment. Paul Heyman did his usual thing, talking about how he's the advocate for Brock Lesnar. The couple things I noted here was Paul Heyman mentioned UFC about Brock and compared the cage match to UFC, but says that Brock wants to fight in UFC, so that's something of note. So maybe they're doing some foreshadowing here for what's to come for Brock Lesnar. Maybe he will be competing in UFC soon, and maybe this is a chance for Roman Reigns to win at the Greatest Royal Rumble on Friday, so that Brock Lesnar can take some time off to go fight in the UFC. But I guess we'll find out there. The next thing, Roman Reigns finally does come out. He interrupts Paul Heyman not soon enough, because this promo went on way too long for me. But Roman Reigns does come out, interrupts. He's not scared or whatever. He walks down to the ring, gets in the ring with Brock Lesnar, says he's going to beat him. The announce team is talking about how brave that was of Roman Reigns to get in the ring with Brock Lesnar after what Brock Lesnar did to him at WrestleMania. But this didn't really work for me too much. The only thing I noticed, and even I noticed it when it happened, and then it was obvious enough that Andrea mentioned it to me a couple minutes after, the fans that were cheering Roman Reigns, and then the camera cut to them right down there in the front row. Those almost certainly were WWE plants, because they were really cheering Roman Reigns. It was a little group of them. They were probably set him up there to try to get the whole crowd to cheer for Roman Reigns. Didn't really work, but at least he wasn't getting booed like crazy. But yeah, so that was something we both noticed. I'm sure we'll bring that up on the regular review show when we get to that on Friday. So let's move on here. Next up, we had Elias. He's about to do performance, and he is interrupted by Bobby Roode. We go to a commercial break. We come back, and Bobby Roode and Elias have a match. Man, this match, it was a good match, but man, I think it was a brutal match. A lot of chops were given back and forth between Bobby and Elias there. I would not have wanted to be taking part in that match. Those chops, there's not really a good way to fake them. You actually have to slap them on the chest to get that loud slap. So it seemed like both performers' chests were definitely really red after the end of this performance. So it didn't really look like it would have been a fun match to be part of. Very painful. Elias ended up getting the win here. He takes advantage of Bobby Roode trying to enter back in the ring and rolls him up and gets the pin. Not sure what's really going on here. Didn't really seem like they were going to turn Bobby Roode heel with the way this went, but maybe it will. We'll see. I would really like to see Bobby Roode turn heel. Okay, after this, we got a little video. Matt Hardy saying that he's going to, that he talked to an oracle, and the oracle told him it's his destiny to win the tag team titles at the Greatest Royal Rumble. I cannot remember what Matt Hardy called it now, but he was like the royal the huge Royal Rumble of royalty, or I can't remember what he called it, but something silly, of course. I like that. Then when we come back from commercial break, again, we get a match between the Ascension and Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt. Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt got the win here. This was a good match. I was really surprised actually that Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt didn't just totally squash the Ascension. The Ascension actually put on a good match here and put on a good fight. But I continue to enjoy what Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt are doing character wise, and I really like what they're doing in the ring. It seems like they haven't been a tag team for very long, but they are they're getting their chemistry down in ring. They're working well as a tag team. Alrighty, after this we got the Sammy and Kevin show. I thought this was really good as well. They come out, say they got to do it because the Miz was sent over to SmackDown, so they got to fill the void, and that they're gonna do the Sammy and Kevin show whenever it is they feel like it. They say they're going to win the Greatest Royal Rumble. They introduce Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle comes out. Some more comedy stuff. They give him a lawn chair. They talk about how, I like the whole segment where they talk about Kurt's kids, and Sammy's like, oh, he's got 5 kids. And Kevin's like, no, he's got 6. He's got 6. And Sammy starts looking at his paperwork, and he's like, oh, 5. And Kevin's like, oh, you 6. You forgot Jason Jordan, just like Kurt Angle did for years. And so that was pretty good burn for me, even though we know that's not real, but it was still funny. What else did we get? And then we get here. Kurt is obviously fed up and annoyed, and so he makes a match with Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn versus Braun Strowman and Bobby Lashley here. So when they made this announcement, I thought, oh man, and obviously Kevin and Sami are thinking the same thing, but man, that team together is a scary team. Those are 2 big buff dudes that are powerful. I wouldn't want to be in the ring with those guys. Again, Kevin and Sami are obviously not happy about it either. Then we get next up, we got Seth Rollins. He's approached by Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel. Actually, the camera's zoomed in on Curtis and Bo, and they're talking to somebody, and then they zoom out to show that it's Seth Rollins. And then, Seth Rollins denies teaming up with them. So Bo and Curtis are bummed out, of course. Next up, we got Titus Worldwide versus Drew McIntyre and Dolph Ziggler. I thought this match was really good. This is one where Drew McIntyre looked really good. So did Dolph Ziggler. I like the teaming up with them. They got the win here. I still really like the Claymore and Zigzag together finisher for them. It looks really good. I feel like they worked well as a tag team as well. The good chemistry, good work with tagging in and tagging out. I liked the promo at the end here with Dolph and Drew McIntyre, especially Drew McIntyre talking about the locker room in the back and how they're all soft, and Drew McIntyre is dangerous, and that things are going to be different with him being on the main roster, and he's really gonna destroy people, which I'm excited about. I thought this was all good here. So already after 1 week of Dolph and Drew McIntyre being together, I'm more interested in Drew, but it does I'm actually interested in a storyline that Dolph Ziggler is a part of now. So I'm happy about that. After this, we got a little thing with Chad Gable. Kurt's telling him, that Jason Jordan's going to be back soon, but he didn't bring Chad Gable over to be a partner with Jason Jordan. He wants him to be a singles guy. So, with that said, next up, we, actually Jinder Mahal interrupts them here, and Kurt Angle makes a match between them. And so then we get Jinder Mahal versus Chad Gable. Um, I thought this was a pretty well performed match. It wasn't great or anything, but it was decently well performed. Um, but the whole deal here was maybe fans really do like Chad Gable a lot, because I noticed the fans really popped when Chad Gable got the win there. So either fans, like the fact that Chad Gable won and they like Chad Gable, or maybe Jinder Mahal is just doing a good job of being the heel, and so the fans are cheering for the fact that Jinder Mahal lost. I guess we'll play it out more. I wouldn't have guessed that there would have been that big of a pop for Chad Gable winning over Jinder Mahal. I would have thought this would have been a match that people didn't care that much about. So hopefully this will be momentum for these two guys going forward. I will just have to watch and find out. Next up, we had the Riot Squad do a little promo saying that they're on Raw. They're here to take over the women's locker room, women's division on Raw. Again, not too big of a fan of the Riot Squad, so it is what it is. We got, a little selfie thing with Samoa Joe again, saying that he was going to be Roman Reigns at Backlash after Brock Lesnar's done with him. We get, and again, I think it was Cole who mentioned something. Oh, and by the way, if Roman Reigns wins a Universal title at a Greatest Royal Rumble, maybe they would make this a Universal title match. So maybe that's more foreshadowing of what's going to come, what's going to happen. So just again, we'll have to watch and find out. Obviously, at WrestleMania, they did a lot of stuff that we didn't expect, but this is a big event in Saudi Arabia, so maybe they'll be a little bit more paint by the numbers. We'll see. Next up, we got Bo and Kurtz together again. Then it's revealed that this time they are talking to Finn Balor, and Finn Balor denies joining their team as well. Next up, we got our match of Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, and Braun Strowman and Bobby Lashley. And oh my gosh, was this match great! If Braun Strowman and Bobby Lashley, I don't know if this is a one-off thing or if they're going to continue to keep these guys together as a tag team. But if they do, man, that's one scary tag team to go against. Bobby Lashley did most of the work of the match, but man, he looked good while doing it. When he finally, at some point, Kevin and Sammy, take advantage, start putting a beating on Bobby because he's getting tired. He's been in there for a while, but when he finally gets that hot tag in, Braun Strowman gets in there. Fans pop like crazy. He runs out to the outside, bulldozes over Kevin Owens, then does great work on Sammy, goes back and does like that drop kick on Kevin Owens on the outside. Anytime I see Braun Strowman do that drop kick, I'm always like, wow, like that's such a big guy to be doing that. It's crazy. But yeah, fans are going crazy for it. It's obvious to me that Braun Strowman is the biggest star in WWE right now. He's the guy that fans most want to see. Only the brightest future for him. I mean, at some point you got to put the Universal title on that guy. I mean, fans just are such a big fan of him. He's so over. Fans are cheering for him. You get these hands. Again, they're screaming like crazy once he gets tagged in, and anytime he does his big moves, it's great. Okay, what else we get? So after that, we got again, I guess they're setting up a storyline here. Not too interested. We get No Way Jose. He dances down with his conga line. He's having a party. Baron Corbin comes out. He's still got the same look, still got the same pants, still got the same dumb hair. So I don't care about him right off the bat. But he interrupts No Way Jose's little fiesta that he's having. Tells No Way Jose that he's a joke, and he's not gonna have a match with him right now because he's here on Raw to be taken seriously. Then No Way Jose is like, okay, well, we're still here to party, so he dances with his conga line back towards the back, and then Baron Corbin, of course, comes out, attacks him on the ramp, looks all mean, and then leaves. Again, I don't care. This storyline looks dumb to me. I'm not interested in a feud between No Way Jose and Baron Corbin, And I'm not interested in Baron Corbin. I mean, he can do some cool moves. He's an athletic guy for a big guy, but I just do not care for his character, and I do not care for his look. I do not like the pants. I do not like the hair. I mean, the shakeup should be a fresh start for guys. Get this guy a different look. I mean, it's old. His promos aren't that great. Like I said, I like his in-ring performances, but let's start doing something different with him. All right. After this, we got a little video package of Alexa Bliss. She was saying, it was a moment of bliss, is what it was called. She was saying how Nia is the real bully, and that Nia, Alexa tried to give a burrito bowl to a homeless lady, and then Nia took it and scarfed it down in front of the homeless lady, and she's like warning the other women to not be friends with Nia. And so I thought this was well done by Alexa. Again, she's great at cutting promos.
I don't know that.
So yeah, I really enjoyed this part here. Next up, we had Finn Balor, Seth Rollins versus Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel. This again was just another match for me. Finn and Rollins got the win here. They kind of mentioned how there's going to be a 4-man ladder match for the title, the Intercontinental title at Greatest Royal Rumble, but this match didn't really do a whole lot for me. I'm kind of interested to see what's going to happen with Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel. Are they going to finally make it out on their own? Are they going to continue this storyline every week for their characters, where they're trying to approach somebody to be their leader because they need a leader? They still came out to the Miz's music. They don't got their, they're still being called the Miztourage. They haven't been given their own gimmick and their own music or anything. So maybe this will be a continuing storyline where they try to get somebody else to be their leader every week until they find somebody, or until they either just decide that they got to go it alone, or maybe it leads to a feud between the two of them, or it's not working out. Their tag team isn't working out with a leader, and they're still losing all the time, so they get fed up with each other and ended up fighting each other. After this was the match that was the main event, where we had Mickie James, Bliss, and the Riot Squad, plus Sasha, Bayley, Nia. We had who was the other? We had Sasha, Bayley, Nia, Natalya, and Ember Moon all teaming up against them. Let's see here. They showed a little video package of Nia, Sasha, Bayley, Natalya, and Ember all backstage before the match. And Natalya's getting them fired up, ready to go for the match. And then, when they pan out, of course, we still get a little, like, a stare down between Sasha Banks and Bayley. They're obviously still not happy with each other. Nothing came of that, actually, during the match. During the match, though, I thought Ember Moon did a great job. I thought Mickie James did a good job of picking on Natalya and, continuing to be a good heel character there. When Nia came in, Nia did a really good performance, and fans are still popping for her. She comes in, does she does that gorilla press, and she was winking at Alexa while doing it, so it just continues to show how strong her character is. And then what else? That dive that Nia did off the apron to the outside was really great. And of course, the match isn't over. Natalya's still hurt over on the other side. Mickie James goes over and starts beating up on Natalya. To boom, out comes Ronda Rousey to help Natalya. Mickie James runs back in the ring. Ronda is trying to help Natalya up, and Mickie James takes a cheap shot on Ronda. Ronda's not phased, though. He just made her mad. She gets in the ring. She does this so well, like these quick moves so well. I mean, obviously that's what she did in the UFC, but if they just continue to do even just small spots with her, like she is the main attraction in WWE right now, like what every mainstream fan of wrestling is there to watch. So to bring her in at the end there, have her do the move like that quick powerful hip toss that she does right into the arm bar. Mickey James of course has got to tap right away. I think it just looks good. Ronda Rousey continues to be a star, and it's super exciting. Okay, guys, that was the Raw Rundown for April 23rd, 2018. Thank you for tuning in to the show. I am going to be uploading this to YouTube, obviously, if you're watching. I will, if you're listening on the podcast, obviously, I'm going to be uploading the audio to the podcast feed. And I think I'm going to try to keep it this way for a while. Again, it takes me a little bit longer to do both the editing and of the video and getting the audio uploaded as well, separate from the video. But I want to try to keep a consistent basis for what we for our wrestling show here. Again, later in the week, I'll come back and do instead of just a little rundown right here, we'll do a full thought review of what me and Andrea both think of what happened later on in the week. Alrighty, guys, again, thank you for tuning in. Have fun.